time to tune in. Now the another Sports Center, it's a movement.
And then the next team that we're going to take and talk about is going to take and be the Denver Broncos, okay? We got Mike Williams on the show with us here today. Mike, talk to us about some UDFAs today, sir.
Man, super excited about this as always. Being on here with you and Isaac is always good, man. So two that I know he said one initially, but one of them kind of goes with the Aaron Rodgers stuff. So one of them depends on that. One of them is the more likely one, I think, just based on our history. But Andre Mintze out of Vanderbilt, he's a outside linebacker, edge rusher. And the last few years, man, like the last 4 years, we've had probably 2-3 outside linebacker free agents have made the team and got paid other places. Shaq Barrett was one undrafted free agent for us back in the day. We have a few different people that have kind of came in. Vic Fangio develops them very well, so I feel like we didn't take the outside linebacker we took from Ohio State later on. He actually just got flagged like a couple of days ago. He has to get a heart surgery, so that decreases the likelihood of him making the team, and I think makes the likelihood of a outside or a free agent, much more likely making the team with him potentially being on injured reserve or whatever's going to go on with that situation. And his stats in college, man, he wasn't like some prolific pass rusher. He has right around like 9.5 sacks in college, but he got better every year at Vanderbilt. He's a great special teams player, and we put a big intention on improving our special teams this year because that was an area where we were ranked bottom third of the league last year. So he could come in, definitely make the team as a special teamer for sure, and then start to rotate off the edge between Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, some of the guys we got over there. So that's the one I think most likely to make the team. One from Warren Jackson is a receiver from CU. He's about 6'6", 219. I think if we let go of Tim, I think if we traded Tim Patrick, because there has been some rumblings, like Broncos have had maybe a few offers for him and the Packers potentially putting him in those trade offers, 6'4" receiver. I think he started to establish himself as like a solid option last year. So if he has to be on the way out the door, replacing him with a 6'6", 219 receiver who, has produced. I mean, he opted out last year, but the previous season he had 1,100 yards receiving. He had about 8 touchdowns. And the Broncos really do like having that 4th or 5th receiver being somebody just gigantic that, will eventually learn how to run routes and can do some stuff over the middle. So I think if Tim Patrick isn't there, he would be a natural kind of replacement to kind of come in and potentially make the roster as well, man. So we have some injuries like that offensive tackle stuff with Juwan James. So I was kind of looking at the tackles we signed, but
yeah,
they're more likely to make the practice squad than the active roster just with some of their experience.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two most likely. And Warren Jackson, man, if you have a chance to check him out, I mean, that dude looks like he should be in the NBA like Sammy Reyes or something. Dude is humongous, 6'6", 219. He's an athlete. He's very fluid. And CU's been kind of turned into a little bit of a factory, with some of these receivers here we've seen over the years. So he is coming from a program that has put out some NFL talent. So I think he could potentially make the roster even if Tim Patrick's there. But I think that would give him a lot more of a chance if we do end up shipping Tim Patrick off, which there has been some rumblings about that.
Absolutely. And you bring up a very valid point about Juwan James. Obviously, a very nasty injury, that he recently sustained. And then you have the controversy of the not paying him and stuff. There's just a lot happening. Who do you think, not that you can necessarily fill those shoes because he's a very good player, but who do you think is going to be the next man up who you think could actually do a pretty decent job for the Denver Broncos?
We've been in discussions from what I've been reading with Dennis Kelly, who's about the same size as Juwan James, 6'8". He started for the Titans, didn't give up a sack last year, as a mauler in the run game, and that's really what we need on that side. So I think we have, I think we're going to probably. I'm pretty confident just because of the depth we had at right tackle because we didn't draft one. That we'll probably look at bringing in a free agent, but in-house, we have Calvin Anderson, who was a guy we took late last year. More of a project. I guess he started kind of figuring it out with Mike Munchak, the best offensive line coach in the league. He definitely cleaned up Garrett Bowles and some of that stuff. So I think Calvin Anderson could step in and compete. But I really do think just because of our lack of depth and the lack of drafting this year, which was totally shocked me, I think we'll probably sign a free agent like Dennis Kelly. There's rumblings, Leno potentially, but getting him to move over to right tackle after he's been a left tackle. So I think Calvin Anderson would probably be most likely in-house outside of, as far as free agents go. I think Dennis Kelly has been like the preferred option from Peyton so far.
Love it. Absolutely, man. Honestly, I don't see the Broncos missing a step. Obviously, it's a nasty injury, but there's a lot of, that's what you have the offseason for, to work through these type of kinks, man. So, hey, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show. Isaac, thank you so much for coming on the show as well, too. And if you guys haven't came through, this is your first time watching the show, just as a reminder, make sure y'all go hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. Did we miss somebody tonight? Let us know if there's a person in a video that you would actually like us to do a video on as well, too. Be more than happy to do it. In the meantime, catch you guys next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Have a good night. Peace.
Time to tune in. Now another sports center. It's a movement.